I was going to say that SEO with Fat Joe is as peaceful as this, but then the birds are all having fights.
Did you know that Google personalizes many searches by city and Also Asked is the only tool to access live People Also Ask data at city level? Try for free at alsoasked.com.
Tired of SEO guesswork? Quadra's AI agent goes deeper to uncover high-impact optimizations and completes hours of SEO in minutes. Get started now.
Hi all, my name is Sukhjeet, as Amy kindly introduced me. So first I do want to thank the organisers for inviting me on stage and allowing me to have this opportunity to share these ideas with you. Again, as Amy mentioned, I'm based up in Leicester and I run an advertising agency in Leicester and we focus on meta advertising specifically. Now, the thing with me, right, is I've got quite a unique perspective on meta and marketing as a whole. So again, being British-born Sikh, 18-year-old entrepreneur, I've got a very unique view on meta compared to a lot. So a lot of you in the room are more experienced. You've been marketing longer than I've been born, right? So it might be a bit different for you. But all I'm here to do is really share what I've learned over the past few years. And again, we've got amazing results from our clients using these strategies and techniques. So if it benefits yourself, I hope it does and gives you some value essentially. But the first thing I really want to cover is how relevant is meta, especially in 2025? Because I know a lot of people, a lot of people were mentioning it yesterday. I'm not too sure we were in a Syndicate 3 and 4. There were a few crossovers there. But they were talking a bit about how, especially the targeting with meta, it's a lesson since about 5 years ago. And a lot of changes have come into place. Even this year, meta are actually being sued by a few people in the UK. So you have all these changes within the meta ecosystem, and we'll be covering them very briefly today as well. Again, another thing I hear quite often is that companies spend tons on meta, but get nothing back. So right now, I'm really here to show you what we do to ensure that we're always making an ROI. You're not just breaking even, but making a tangible ROI for our clients and actually getting them amazing results. Again, this is not limited to any industry. I'm going to be sharing 3 main principles with you regarding our methodology. And again, 3 main things I'm going to share with you and hopefully will help you out. Perfect. So I'm going to take you back to the 50s. Is anyone familiar with this guy? David Ogilvy, that's right. So David Ogilvy was a direct response marketer back in the 50s and 60s. He was born in 1911, UK, so he's British as well. Now, he was a pioneer of direct response. And his goal, and the focus of direct response as opposed to brand awareness, is all about making money. Now, being blunt, the purpose of marketing is, again, awareness is great, consideration is great, but the purpose of marketing is to make money. Get to the point, right? So direct response focuses on actually bringing a revenue in and focusing on converting people, right? Obviously, you're going to be building rapport, building consideration and awareness as a byproduct. The focus is always making a profit, and that's really what we do for our clients, is focusing on actually making a tangible return. Because again, as you know, when you look at Ads Manager, especially compared to SEO or content, meta is very black and white. It's clear cut. Here's your ROI, here's your ROAS, here's your CPM. Is very clear, so you can see exactly how much money you're making, as you're aware. Now, the main thing I'm getting at here is that I'm not here to teach. I can't teach you a strategy. I can teach you a very technical strategy that works in 2025, but I'm not going to do that because strategies come and go as a trend. They work 1 year and then they stop working in a few months. So what I'm sharing here with you is a few principles. And the great thing about principles is that they're timeless. So these have been working from the 50s all the way to even now. So on the left, you can see a sales letter. It's an old form sales letter from America in the 50s by a guy called John Carlton. John Carlton was a copywriter. And what I'm trying to show you is even when you look at the comparison, the layout is exactly the same. So you've got a headline on the Brighton SEO Facebook ads, body copy you've got as well, and you've got a CTA. And as you know, they're both targeted and trackable. So you all know how targeting works. Yeah, you all know how the Metapixel works and conversion API works. But what a lot of people don't know is that this has existed since 50, 60 years ago. So just to give you some context here, what would happen is that these sales letters will be, so let's say you're an advertising agency or copywriter and you're trying to sell a product. So here they're selling golf clubs, I assume. They'd first buy a targeted list from a Mailing list company like the CRDS in America, that'd be a targeted list of buyers which are likely to buy from that company, and it'll be trackable. So this form right here, this order form would have a specific number, and they will track how many numbers and dials they're getting in from that number and how many orders they're getting from that. Or it'd be through postal, and they'd send it off to the post and they can track it that way as well. So it's always existed. It's nothing new, right? It's always existed. So even these principles are really, really applicable. Again, if you look at the timeline of Facebook, so started in 2004, Mike Murphy came in and introduced ad buying as we know it. Quite this biggest shift in internet marketing was by Mike Murphy. Never before did we have social ads as we do today. Again, Meta's always been a leader in the field in terms of paid traffic and paid ads. 2007, self-serving ad buying was introduced. Business Manager was in 2014. You can see the progression. Then obviously since then Cambridge Analytica happens. You had iOS 14 as well. But right now we're with 10 million active advertisers. So how do you possibly compete against all those other people, right? Is that quite a bit of competition? So how do you actually make a revenue? Now, the first thing I want to get out of the way is that a mistake I see very often, again, if you're more, I don't know about the crowds, but if you're more towards SEO content, you might be less familiar with this concept, but you should be trying to sell people who are in the market for what you have to sell. The biggest mistake I see marketers and salespeople make when I'm training people is that they focus on turning non-buyers into buyers. They try to sell a glass of water to someone who's not even thirsty. That's not what you're here to do. You're here to take people who are in the market, who are shopping around, looky-loos, and convert them. That's what marketing does for you, and that's what Meta Ads does for you. It's not about turning people, getting anyone and getting everyone to buy your product. It's about finding the people who are in the market for it and getting them to choose you over a competitor. That's where the differentiation is. So ads sell the satisfaction to your desire, not the product. So again, it comes back to features and benefits and that sort of thing. The first thing I want to cover is having a full funnel approach. So especially when I go into companies and I'm going to work with them, even corporate companies. It's very, very common in bigger e-com companies as well. I see it. So it's honestly insane how often this happens. But what they do is they pay for traffic, Meta or PPC or whatever else, and it goes to their website or a shop front, and that's it. And it does not. You're wasting money. You're literally wasting money. And it might seem a bit, again, if you're experienced in the room, you might feel this is very simple, but I'm mentioning it because it's so crucial. If you don't get this right, nothing else will work. It all starts from here. You're not making, it's not just ads, it's a whole system. So even if you're working in a marketing department, you should be speaking to your sales team saying, okay, we're going to get your leads in. This is what they've done so far. How are we going to take those leads and are we going to sort them out? Is it going to be a Zoom call or a sales call? How is it going to integrate? It should be a seamless process. Even when you're working on landing pages, your landing pages should be consistent with your paid ads as well. So all about working in flow. So how it should look, again, as a metaphor, you're using water. Your traffic is flowing to different areas. So you might save some water, so some traffic for later, because only 3% of buyers will buy now. Only 3% are ready to buy now. 97% will be retargeting on emailing lists, retargeting ads, and even with using PPC and SEO, you're all linking it together. 3% are only ready to buy right now, so it's a minority. And if you're lucky, maybe you might get 1 out of 100 converting and 2 converting in a few months or for you, depending on what you're selling. But what I'm getting at is you need to make the most out of your traffic by using proper funnels. And again, it's basic, but it needs to be said because a lot of companies don't do it as well as they should have. Again, the best way to actually do that is making continuous offers throughout your funnel. So it's really about increasing the order value and increasing the lifetime value of your customer. Because what we find is only a quarter of people will come back and buy again. So 3/4 of your buyers will buy once, and that's it. They won't come back. It's more focused on e-com at least, if you're looking at selling products, less so for services. But you have a quarter of people buy, and they come again, 3/4 will never buy. So your goal is to increase that order value to get the maximum return, right? That's what it's about. Really, not just selling one product, but upselling them. So making offers throughout the funnel. So maybe what we often do is we have an offer, add to cart, then another one in between the thank you page, then you have an email list to upsell them. The point is to keep that constant communication and again, building that relationship with people on the screen. Another thing I mentioned is that advertising is just salesmanship in print. Advertising is just salesmanship in print. It's the exact same thing, just in print. People overcomplicate it so much, but when you look at it, it's pretty simple, right? It just sales through text and images. That's the only difference. So if you're a salesperson in the room, what you already know in your head is very applicable to advertising, okay? But again, I'm showing you here actually works. It's not just brand awareness or getting people, like banners or flyers. It's actually working to bring you a return. It works. Okay. Second thing I'd say, the second point is a game of positive deception. The thing is, no one willingly reads an ad. Apart from marketers, apart from us in this room, no one reads an ad, right? You're watching TV, when the commercials come on, you go to the kitchen and buy some snacks, or get some snacks, right? Popcorn or whatever, if you're watching a movie. If you're on the radio, you change the channel. When you're in the car, driving in the car, you change the channel. That's what else is on music. No one willingly reads ads, especially in today's era, especially with the past few years on social media. And a lot of people are talking about attention. A lot of people were speaking about it yesterday here in HeroConf. How do you keep attention? How do you do it? But how do you capture someone's attention and not just keep that attention, but also make them into a customer? How do you take them down your journey into your funnel? That's what I'm covering right now. So if you look here, give you 10 seconds, can you spot the ads? Yeah? HubSpot there straight away, and Google Ads. It's quite easy. And again, from my feed, you can see you just got some general posting here, but it's so black and white. It's so black and white, and it really is distinct. So our methodology here, what we do and it works for any industry, and we forget about the funnel, we forget about the usual, so awareness, consideration, conversion. For us, it's just all about conversion, and really about building, because it happens as a byproduct, you see. Awareness is a byproduct of conversions. So why not focus on the main thing, right? So 2 things, you blend in and you stand out. Is anyone familiar? So blending you by writing like a human. Forget the corporate jargon. Just write how you'd, rule on copywriting. Write how you speak. Write how you speak. Remember, it's salesmanship and print. That's the only difference. It's the only difference. Okay, so write like a human. So blend in. Stand out. Who's familiar with NLP, Neuro-Linguistic Programming? Richard Bandler, anyone? Yeah. So pattern interrupt is a concept from NLP. NLP is really about your psychology and your brain how to, again, it's completely different, but it's about psychology, okay? Pattern interrupt is about interrupting a pattern and getting someone's attention. In this case, it's about scrolling. How do you stop the scroll? How do you get someone's attention in a split second and get them to read your ads as opposed to anyone else's, right? And again, this works on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok on video. It all works very well. Twitter, LinkedIn. So again, it's not a strategy, it's principles, timeless principles from the 50s on sales letters, okay? Now, if I show an example here, this is for a recent client a few weeks ago, and they were selling home care services for elderly people. So they essentially take care of elderly people. So I've included quite a unique example for you guys, so you can see how applicable it really is. On the left is a competitor's ads. On the right is ours. You can see the figures there. We're using some analytics. 0.39 CTR on the competitors, £4 CPC. On ours, 2.45% CTR and 1.07 CPC. This is for lead generation, by the way. So it works for lead generation, not just sales as well. Okay, same principle. That looks like an ad. Yeah, graphic, very corporate-y, very posh creatives. This looks like a live. Again, it's a bit small. I do apologize, but this is literally an image taken from a phone. That's literally it. So it's what they post on Facebook itself. And you can see the copy's a lot long. I'm going to go into this a bit more right here. But you can see the copy's a lot more long form. And it plays on a lot of pain points as well, okay? Okay, last part is cold versus retargeting. Okay, so the slide's been omitted, I think, but anyway, so I explained it verbally. So what we've essentially done here is we've really focused on hitting different psychological triggers in terms of pain points, desires. Advertising is salesmanship and psychology. Okay? If you want to learn ads, psychology, influence, persuasion, yeah, that's all it really is. So again, don't overcomplicate it for yourself. Again, if you're in SEO, it's a bit new to you, but don't overcomplicate it. You know? It's quite simple when you look at psychology. So here we're looking at chronic pain, but we're really evoking that pain of seeing death. So it's targeted at parents, by the way, and family people, if you have a family, around Leicestershire. And we're evoking the pain of them seeing their parents in pain themselves. And the product we're selling is home care services. It's very applicable. Same thing if you're selling water or selling, I don't know, clickers for presentations. Same principle, okay? Last part, you're probably familiar with cause and reverse retargeting is a standard, but I'm going to put a spin on it in terms of how we do it. So you're probably all familiar with how segmenting the audiences works in Meta. You have interests, behaviors, demographics, but obviously you have less control over that compared to a few years ago, like a lot less. Even I know a big thing for me is that they got rid of audience insights a few years back, so that was a big knock for me. But yeah, so you're familiar with internal to Meta. But what I'm going to focus on right now is buyer intent and buyer awareness, which is external to Meta, and that's where your intuition as a marketer, as a salesperson, as a influencer comes in. Okay, so external to Meta. I do apologize. I should say the numbers are a bit messed up, so I do apologize for that. But this comes from a guy called Eugene Schwartz. So if I go back, Eugene Schwartz, 60s, 70s, 50s copywriter in America, very successful as well. And he wrote a book in 1966 called Breakthrough Advertising. Anyone heard of Breakthrough Advertising? Anyone heard of it? Okay. So if you get a chance to read it, it's so amazing that it goes for sale for about £1,000. £1,000 for a copy of the book. So it's called Breakthrough Advertising. Have a look at it. It's a great book. But all of this stuff about awareness and intent comes from him, essentially. So credit to him, not me, okay? Great book. If you get a chance to read it, check it out. What I'm saying is we segment audiences on the ad set level in terms of awareness. So from most aware to ignorant and unawareness, and also buyer intent. That's how we segment audiences. So we focus less on I know a lot of other people, there's campaigns, like 12 different campaigns and this thing and that gets very confusing. I like simple. I don't know about you guys, but simple works. Simple works. Complex looks good, it looks smart, but it's not that effective at times. So that's how we actually break it down in terms of audiences on an ad set level, segmenting it. And again, I'm not going to go too much into it, but you can get a general idea of how it kind of works and what we're trying to tap into. And if I'm going over to something too quick, if you have questions, let me know, and we'll have a chat afterwards. Okay, so two main campaigns we run on Meta. So if you imagine that as manager, we have the cold campaign and retargeting. That's it. Two. It's very simple. Maybe Advantage Plus here and there, maybe. But again, I like manual and control of what I'm testing. Because what you find in Advantage Plus is you can't really test or see what's working. It's all about variation as well and evolving your campaign. But retargeting codes. So codes, you're trying to educate, determine traffic warmth, and also build awareness. So again, I'm focusing on conversions, but building awareness happens as a byproduct, right? So why not just go for the goal, go for the main thing, which is customers. There's so many people that they just beat around the bush. We're looking for awareness. We're not too bothered. We're just concentrate. We're gonna, if they come to us, it's fine, inbound, but we're not too bothered. No, you're spending money. There's risk involved. It's not organic. You're putting money into a grand. It's 2-3K sometimes, or even more. You got to make a return. It was not worthwhile. You got to at least break even. Okay. What we do is we educate. So if I go back very quickly to the our ads here, we're educating on the what's the word? We're amplifying the pain of chronic pain for parents and for family life. So educating them on the importance of actually solving this issue before it grows. Each personalized care service provides a unique touch so you can live on your terms. What does that mean? I don't know, right? Each personalized, and it's not big, it's not very jargony, right? What if I don't know what home care services are? What if I don't even know about it, right? What if, with Meta, again, you got a lot of people, English is not the first language, so what we recommend in copywriting is writing at a 5th grade, year 5 level. So imagine you're writing to an 8-year-old, okay? So it's a balance between, it comes balance again, I mentioned it earlier on, between writing clearly as you speak, but also using enough jargon to show yourself as an expert. So if I was just here, and if I didn't have CTR, CPC, and if I was being very basic, you'd probably think I'm an idiot, right? Like, what does this guy know? But because I'm including, I know what I'm talking about pretty much because I'm using those specific terms from that. It shows I'm in the industry, okay? Going back very quickly. Awareness happens as a byproduct. On retargeting, we focus more on short form. because they know what project, they know you exist now. So they know that they know you're there. But it's more about actually bringing them in, making them join the club, tapping into that FOMO and urgency. The best way. So if you recall, I spoke about majority of buyers will. So you have 1% who might buy now, then 2% who might buy later. Yeah, does that ring a bell? Well, the best way to get those people to buy now is that urgency. Okay, offers, limited time offers, that sort of thing. Whatever, you see it everywhere. So I'm not going to go into it, but that's the best way to get them to buy today, buy now. Fill in the form, or you go down the sales process and get them to actually take action, because humans are risk averse. Okay. We don't like taking action if we don't know if it's good for our benefit. So we're trying to build the process. In summary, so we've got forefront approach, game of positive deception, and cold retargeting. So I've really just kind of glided over it here. If you have any questions, let me know. I'm also on LinkedIn, so definitely connect with me. I can have a chat. If you have any questions, let me know. But again, I've really tried to convey to you the foundations which carry through, as opposed to strategies. I hope you've found it helpful. As an agency, we are currently looking for 3 partners in terms of white labeling and working as partners. If you are interested, let me know. We can have a chat about that as well. But I hope this has provided some value to yourself. I hope it's given you a unique perspective on advertising, and really showing you that it's more of a long-term thing. But thank you, I appreciate it.